Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute honor to have you here in this today's video. And happy Halloween. Okay, so in our video today, I'm going to be explaining the value of Halloween and what Halloween is actually trying to teach you. And then we're going to go into some intuitive messages that are going to come through with my card decks. I have two Oracle card decks. One of them just happens to be Halloween themed. Okay, so this is the back of the cards. This is all the different cards. It's a really fun deck. And I thought it significantly fit the theme of Halloween. But before we go into that, we're going to start with the understanding that Halloween is actually a very special day. Halloween, in its essence, is the day where we learn to celebrate darkness. Now, there's multiple different lenses and different perceptions that we can have of what it means to celebrate darkness. Some people might look at that from the lens of worshiping darkness, further attaching to and identifying with our darkness within. And I would like to acknowledge that there is a reality to that, and there's a lot of people that resonate with Halloween from that foundation. But I believe the true essence of Halloween is meant to show us how to appreciate the darkness in everyday life. And when I say darkness, I don't inherently mean evil or inherently mean bad or inherently mean wrong. I'm simply just referring to basically negative energy, what we would refer to as dark. Okay? Things that are often unconscious to us that we like to ascribe meaning to, and then we call evil and we call bad. When in truth, it's just another charge. And that charge, that darker negative charge, is just as much of ourselves as anything else, like the positive. And you can't have positive without negative. You can't have darkness without light. So I believe that Halloween is an opportunity for us to get a lot more in tune with the darkness inside of ourself, the parts of ourself that we like to keep buried and hidden within the deeper unconscious. A lot of the times this can refer to your wounded inner child parts, the parts of you that went through different types of traumatic experiences in your past that are still stuck there and are still frozen there and need connection, need support, need somebody to go back there and to basically rescue them from those stuck positions that they might be in. And that person that's meant to go rescue these parts is you. And it's only you. So as I was saying, I believe that Halloween is a day where we can basically make fun of, we can celebrate, we can bring awareness to, we can appreciate, and we can honor our own collective darkness, as well as our inner personal darkness. This is a day of the demons. It's a day of the quote-unquote devil. It's the day of the witches, the wizards, the ghouls, the goblins. It's the day of death. And although it's all of these dark things, there are so many of us that celebrate it and learn to have fun on this day that is so full of all this darkness. There are so many of us that are really honoring it and appreciating it. And that's what I believe it's truly meant for. So use this day as an opportunity to get more curious about the darker aspects and the darker side of who you actually are. Because it's not wrong, it's not bad, it's not evil, it's not shameful, it's just another energy that most of us don't fully understand. And when we learn how to embrace it from a place of respect, from a place of vulnerability and authenticity, that's when we actually get to process it living in the present moment. We don't need to resist it, and we don't need to run from it, because whatever we're resisting and running from, we are inherently becoming. What you resist is ultimately what persists. So it makes a lot of sense that the day of Halloween is a massive doorway. It's like a collective archetypal ritual of everyone coming together and saying, you know what? I celebrate your darkness. I honor your darkness. I celebrate the darkness in the world at large, not because I'm approving of or I'm enabling negative things to happen, but because I understand that it's a part of life. And as I learn to accept that and appreciate it as a part of me better knowing myself and being who I really am, that allows me to be a whole person. It allows me to be who I really am, connected to all things. So I believe, once again, this is what a lot of us are experiencing. And this is what a lot of us are learning, whether we're conscious of it or we're unconscious of it, on a day like today, Halloween. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's pull some cards. And let's just see what naturally comes through. So go ahead and direct your intention towards me right now, towards this deck. What message needs to come through directly from the void, directly from the abyss, directly from the collective unconscious mind? What is the message that every single one of us needs to hear? Set your intention right now towards me of presence, understanding, authenticity, the inner child, and opening of the heart. Go ahead and significantly send that intention right now, and then send the intention of a number. Doesn't have to be a specific number, but just send the intention of a number. Could be any number. You don't have to know it. Just literally the general idea of a number. Send it to me right now. 14. 14. I'm getting the number 14 and then 52. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, so there's only 50 cards in this deck. So there can be a 52 in this one. So then that means the 52 is going to come from this one. All right, let's see. All right, so 52. We've got that one right there. So let's just see what we pulled. As a general collective message for every single one of you that are here right now, and myself. Let's take a look. First card. Interesting. That is I think that's the Chainsaw Massacre. Huh. Yeah, that is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you can see him right there. And the message is warrior. Okay. So the message with the warrior, this is showing a couple things. This is showing the idea that you are a warrior in regards to everything it is that you go through and everything it is that you experience and that you have been through. You've survived a lot. You've experienced a lot. But in the midst of having to be a warrior and fight through, there comes a point where it's time to release the mask. And when I say mask, which funny enough, ties right into the Chainsaw Massacre. And you can see his mask is right there. For those of you that know, you know. But there comes a time where you need to take the mask off, and the mask is oftentimes the part of you, or we could even say parts of you, that are warrioring their way through life. There's nothing wrong with being a warrior. Being a warrior is wonderful, and there are times where it's very necessary. But holding yourself in the identity of always fighting, always being a warrior, typically means there always has to be an enemy to stay alive as the warrior archetype. So a lot of the times when you remove the enemy from the warrior doesn't know who he is anymore, or she doesn't know who she is anymore. And that's the lesson right now, is realizing that it's okay to take the mask off and you don't need to keep fighting. The war is over within, but the war can only truly stop when you choose to let go, when you choose to create the safety that you've always needed, when you choose to embrace your vulnerability, which is one of the biggest fears of the warrior. So I know, like in our collective today, we often look at the warrior and we ascribe a lot of positive meanings to it, and I don't want to discredit the positive nature of being a warrior, but we really do need to look at the negative side too, and the shadow side. And I think, once again, that suits very nicely with this deck today, with the Chainsaw Massacre. Okay? And you can even see the home there. Everything about the Chainsaw Massacre has to do with his home and his childhood trauma. And then I think in that picture there, that might be his mother, or that's somebody. But it's interesting to see that showing up with the warrior. But as I was saying, there's a negative side and there's a shadow side to the warrior. And that means that the warrior oftentimes doesn't know how to be anything else. And the warrior is always subconsciously seeking for an enemy, seeking for a problem, seeking for something that it needs to fight against or it needs to resist. But you're never going to find peace when you're always in that state, similar to the Chainsaw Massacre. How could you ever find peace when you're always running from someone? You're always running from something. So this is an opportunity to realize vulnerability is the door that's opening up for you today. And the door that's been opening up for you, but it's your choice to walk through it and to learn what it means to truly honor your inner process, to be who you really are, to feel what you're really feeling, to create a life around you that supports you, regulating your nervous system, having boundaries, not running anymore from your own shadow. All of those feelings that are so uncomfortable in your body that you've spent so many years running from, maybe you were doing it unconsciously. It's time to face that darkness. It's time to revisit the childhood home, the early childhood trauma, the memories from the past. It's time to allow yourself to re-emotionally visit these things and let them surface. That's the message. The warrior is letting go. Okay? Now it's followed by this. A new door, of course. The new door is opening up for a new you. Here's the message underneath. The new door is vulnerability. Let's read it. Oh, and get this. The numerology is card number 46. 4 plus 6 is 10, which means it's the end of a cycle. And this is the new door card, which leads to a new beginning. So there's a huge closing of a chapter of your life, a cycle of your life, and a new beginning that's following it right now. It says your prayers have been answered and a new door is being held open for you. This is your opportunity. This is the time to really honor it and take advantage of it. You know, in truth, in life, you always have the opportunity and you always have the ability to change your life whenever you want to go from a really negative place to living in a much more authentic way, a much more fulfilling way. But the thing is that in life, things also compound and they calcify. So the more you choose to dishonor yourself and the more you choose to disconnect and to abandon and betray yourself, once again, you might not be conscious you're doing it, but the more you are doing it because you're not understanding your intuition and you're not listening to your instincts, that calcifies and it becomes a little bit easier to fall into that same pattern over and over again. And with all of those different decisions and patterns, they lead to emotional states. And then you can start to get really used to living in a very unfulfilling way, so used to it that you think that's who you are, without realizing it's not who you are, it's what you're experiencing. And what you're experiencing is very real and it's very valid, but it's not who you are. That's what's important to remember. For all of you that feel stuck in all this negative energy, like you can't get out of it, and you feel like life always has the negative end of the stick to offer you, you feel like there's this big cloud of unluckiness and just things like always going into chaos, that's not who you are. It's a manifestation of what you've been choosing and the patterns that you've been allowing yourself to fall into and the emotions that you've been resisting to feel. That's the culmination of the state that you're currently in now, whether that's positive or negative. But the whole point of this is that the warrior in you has played its role. It's done what it's needed to do to help you survive, but now the warrior wants to let go. The warrior wants to experience a new self, a new identity, one that feels more real without the need for duality, without the need for an enemy to fight against. This is the opportunity to start releasing survival stress and choosing to commit to vulnerability and being accepting of yourself and being more present. And that's what's leading to the new door, the new opportunity that you've been asking for, whether you're conscious of this opportunity or not. You've called this in. That's why you're here. Okay, so let's do another. Let's see what else wants to come through. 36. 36. Okay. and 17. All right, let's take a look. Card number 36. Oh, there we go. We got Freddy. Interesting. Out of all these cards, we got the Chainsaw Massacre, and now we have Freddy. Very interesting. Friday the 13th. So the number 13 becomes very significant with this card. 13 is the number of the void. It's the number of the most primal, raw state of presence without really much of any self-identity. It's just pure, raw, primal presence. It's the presence that you find in the state of the no thing or the no self. Okay? Dreams. The message is dreams. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to what's happening in your deeper subconscious as your dreams are starting to present themselves. You know, you're having dreams more often now because your subconscious is trying to tell you that there's a shift that's happening in your life. And not only are your dreams heightening and they're becoming a little bit clearer for you to see, doesn't mean you always remember them, but you can sense that you're having more dreams, which is a really good thing because it's a sign of releasing energy. But another part of that is to realize that this also plays into you creating your dream life. So when you want to manifest a reality of your dreams, the life that is truly the most fulfilling, the same way that Freddy, in his movie, he manifests his dreams and he lives them in reality, even though it's technically in the dream. For any of you that have seen the movie, Freddy creates these wild, scary dreams, but they're very real to him and they manifest into the physical world. So that's the message, is that your dreams are right there. And the life that is the most fulfilling life that you want to experience plays into you taking this opportunity that's in front of you now and being more present with your process and working on your foundation and committing to your authenticity. The door is held open. That's the door to you creating your dream life. And on that path, you're going to notice your dreams heighten because you're going through so many inner changes in such a short period of time. When we look at the bigger scale of it, that it's a lot to process. So make sure you honor that and you give yourself time to go through it. So what follows it? Let's see. Wake up call. Interesting. Card number 19 with, again, the 10 symbolism. And actually you can see the 10 on the guy's shirt too. So we're getting a lot of that 10, which is the completion of something. Something's finalizing here. 1 + 9 = 10. And this is the message. So let me read it. You are about to discover your life's purpose. That's right on cue. You're about to discover your life's purpose in tandem with creating the life of your dreams. That's the most fulfilling. But it comes back down to letting go of the survival stress of the warrior and needing to resist yourself so that you can open the new door and step into it. All right. Let's pull some intuitive cards. Now I'm not going to pull numbers. I'm just going to pull randomly. So here's another one. And then here's another one. All right, so I'm going to put these other ones to the side for now. Okay, so here's our next card. Interesting. I think this one says dance. Yeah, look at that. Dance. Okay. So I'm not really sure what movie this is. Dance? I'm not really sure. Phantom of the Opera? I don't know if I'm right on that, but long story short, the message is dance. What does dance mean? Well, dance is a creative expression. So there's an aspect of creativity here, but also tapping into the energy of dancing with life. So you know when you're dancing or when you observe someone that is dancing, there's a flow that that person is in that when they're good at it is very beautiful, and it almost seems like they're tapping into something higher, or they're tapping into something that is that's in full control, but the person isn't in full control. They're letting something else move through their system. They're letting something else channel through their body, and they're flowing through with it. And yes, that can take a lot of practice, but when you get to a certain point of practice, you let the energy, it's almost like you move into a deeper state of trust, and the energy can just flow through you. And this same exact example of someone that's dancing can also be applied to living life when your nervous system is regulated. There is a harmony and a synchronicity and a correspondence that's always syncing together, that's always registering and creating a self-fulfilling feedback loop that can be a very positive experience, a very positive reality, or a positive reflection of an internal state of self-love and an internal state of harmony. So that's when you start to live from a place of feeling like you're actually dancing with life. You're here to literally be present and to live and to experience the curiosity of what it means to be a human with your own unique essence or your own unique state that is completely unique to you. There's no one else that's like you out here. But what's interesting is, we're now touching into the dance, which is creative. And remember, the first was warrior. So when the warrior drops the mask and allows themselves to start dancing with life, it's a very different experience. It opens up different doors. So let's see what follows it. Of course, spiritual growth. And look at the purple color on the card. That is the crown. Purple's the crown. That's the doorway, direct doorway to the higher self consciousness that a lot of us get closed off to. So I'm not surprised that that color is showing up right now, but it's card 67. What does that add to? So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the 13. So we're going back to the 13 again. So when we look at Friday the 13th with Freddie, now we have 67, the numerology, which is 13. So right now in this moment, you could say we're dancing with life. Look at the synchronicities that are happening just with the cards that we've pulled so far. Look how it's weaving itself together into a beautiful story that I'm now just dancing with as we're communicating it and as I'm sharing it with all of you in the present moment. Hold on one second. Sorry, I just noticed there. That is so crazy. Hold on. I don't know if you could hear that. That is actually wild. So something just happened. So check this out. So I'm recording this video right now, and I'm recording it on my laptop with the audio. And out of nowhere, I don't know if you guys could hear it on your side, but from my headphones here, I just heard some music that was playing. Actually, I think I can even show it to you. So check this out. This started playing. Oh, that's kind of loud. Hold on. So this music just randomly started playing, and I don't recall clicking anything. I mean, I've been kind of sitting here, so I don't know how that just randomly started playing. But it was interesting because it was playing at a certain part in the song where it felt like a celebration. It felt like the energy of the song with where it was like, it just felt like some sort of a passing through a doorway or some sort of a celebration. So I thought that was really interesting. But before, let me read the message of the card. So for spiritual growth, you are currently experiencing a lesson required for your spiritual evolution. So just a little gentle reminder that what you're experiencing and what you're going through is very important for this foundation that you're creating within to then build your entire life from that foundation. So what this means is that coming back to you now, here in this moment, that's what matters the most. It's not about who you're becoming. It's not about what you're creating. It's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are and trusting yourself to be who you are and learning to love yourself there. Learning to take those little steps every day to show you that you love you. You can be you. You can feel what you're feeling. You can think what you're thinking. You can do these things from a place of not being attached, but being present. And just showing up every day consistently, taking the little steps you need to show yourself and show you and your own inner child that you're there. You're loving yourself. You're truly being present. That is so valuable. And that's okay if you're in this moment now and you don't feel too good. Because it's not about feeling good. It's about learning to love yourself in presence. Sometimes the deepest self-love that gets built is when you're feeling the worst that you could ever feel. You're feeling depressed. You're feeling confused. You're feeling exhausted. You're feeling angry. Sometimes, if not most of the times, that's where you develop the deepest self-love because you're learning to be present in uncomfort, which is showing your system that you're not going to abandon or betray yourself just because you feel uncomfortable. You're showing your own inner child that you're going to be completely with it and present with it through the entire storm. And through time, things will regulate, they will resolve. But just remember, where you are now is important for your development, so trust that. This is that encouragement. All right, so that's our messages, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, little recap. We're letting go of the warrior identity. We're embracing coming over to this one after this. The dreams, you're creating your dream life by letting go of the survival stress. And you're also going to notice enhanced dreams too. That's going to help you dance with life. Okay? This is the key right now. The new door is opening up. Honor it. Wake up call. You're about to discover your purpose because your purpose was never something you had to find. It was something that you had to remember because you are always your purpose. Just you being you was your purpose. And then it is a spiritual evolution, spiritual growth. And what you're currently going through now is a part of your journey. So honor it. We're going to wrap it up there. If you're looking for a group of like-minded people that are doing this inner work, first link below, request to join. Second link is where you can book calls with me, one-on-one or mentorships. I would be honored to support you. Third link is my Patreon. I have an entire trauma course from start to finish on everything you need to know to work on your foundation to start regulating your nervous system. I highly encourage you to look into it. Okay? Tier number 3 of the Patreon is a nervous system healing ritual that is something that we do on the 29th of every single month. It is a significant energetic catalyst. So if you're someone that resonates with this and this is something that you're committed to going through, this could be very powerful for you in helping you to kind of step into this new level of inner commitment and authenticity. Once again, that's tier number 3, third link below. We're going to wrap it up there. I hope all of you have a wonderful rest of your day or night wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Later.